Let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. Pint of water, by the way, just in case you're worrying about what I did after Valencia, because I didn't post a match vlog, so I went out and had too many beverages. I apologise, but yes guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome to the George Benson football channel. We've changed the surroundings up. I normally film the video to like the right of you guys right now, but we went out and bought Stamford Tree, didn't we? Welcome to the family. We stuck the Stamford Bridge sign in the middle of the tree. It will have to go after filming because Tilda's at work right now. She's got a new job, so if you want to go and congratulate her, link to her Instagram in the description. Just go and say, like, I don't know, well done on your new job, something nice like that, you know. We're trying to spread positivity, bit of Christmas cheer. But Stamford Tree, you guys have said to me that you miss Stamford Fridge, and I'll be honest, I do miss that nonsense of a fridge that just kept making stupid noises behind me every time I'd record. But you guys couldn't hear it. It was just one of those little nuanced things that would happen that you have no idea what I'm talking about. But anyway, welcome back to the channel. We're going to talk today about erring on the side of caution, where Chelsea have a pivotal week. The return of captain, leader, legend, John Terry returning to Stamford Bridge as part of the Aston Villa backroom staff. Huge game this one, having lost 2 Premier League games in a row. We then take a trip up to Goodison Park, which I've seen some unbelievable away games at Goodison. The 3-0, I was there when Pedro scored that goal and we went on to win the league under Antonio Conte. Wow. Alright, guys, welcome back to another video.
We're gonna win the league! We're gonna win the league! We're gonna win the league! Now you're gonna believe us, now you're gonna believe us, now you're gonna believe us! We're gonna win the league!
I was also there for that 0-0. And Goodison, I mean, I'm actually going further up north. I'm going to the Old Firm derby this weekend between Rangers and Celtic. I've been invited there by BT Sport. So I'm going to be doing a match vlog from Everton away and then a match vlog from the Old Firm game on Sunday. Mental week of football. Then I've got to come all the way back on the Monday or on the Sunday night. It's like an 8-hour drive. And that's, well, without stopping off at service stations to get McDonald's and all that stuff that you do when you're on a long journey. Lille at home. It's a deciding game in Chelsea's season in the Champions League. We do not want to go back into the Europa League. Last season it was beautiful to win it. I was in Baku. Weather was gorgeous. We beat the Gunners. We actually won a London derby, unlike what we did at the weekend, in the biggest stage of what was possible. It's not the biggest stage of them all because Liverpool won that one, the Champions League. Chelsea want to be competing in the biggest competition at the highest level. When you looked at the group at the start of this season, you looked at it, you knew that there was going to be some tests. Even Lille are not a bad side, but Chelsea should be qualifying from this. We've played against Valencia twice. I wasn't fully convinced that Valencia are a better side than Chelsea both times that we played them, but we only managed 1 point out of a possible 6. We've done well against Ajax, and we did get the win away at Lille, but winning that game at Stamford Bridge next week is absolutely key. Now, what I want to address today is the reasons why we all need to be prepared for potential failure over the next week as Chelsea fans. We've not won in our last 3 matches. I've been to them all, I've documented it here on this channel, and I've seen a decline in the positivity, which I just want to say now for a start, hit the like button on this video. We want to keep it positive here on the George Benson football channel. But positivity and realism, sometimes they don't quite fit together, so I'm going to try and keep it as realistic as possible. Aston Villa at home. It is a fixture we should be winning. Aston Villa are a newly promoted side. You got the return of captain, leader, legend John Terry that we've already established. That's going to be a beautiful moment when he probably shakes hands with Frank before the game. But the football and the 90 minutes ahead is huge for Chelsea. We've lost the last 2, and if you look at Leicester, they've won the 2 games since we last won a game, so they're 6 points ahead of us. City dropped points at the weekend, which means that we could have got ground on them, and we're starting to fall away from the pack in the top 4. And if you look over the shoulder, not only do you see a Christmas tree in a 1994 Chelsea shirt, but Tottenham, Jose Mourinho. It's, as soon as he was appointed, I just knew that their fortunes were about to turn. They won away from home in his first game at West Ham, a team that we just lost to, come from behind in the Champions League, and then they won again at home at the weekend. 3 games for Mourinho, 3 wins, 6 points gained on Chelsea, and we are now looking over the shoulder at Tottenham Hotspur, going into what could be a huge game before Christmas away at Spurs. This game against Aston Villa, if you look at the fixture list between now and the end of 2019, the end of the decade, you could argue that this match at home to Aston Villa is the one game on paper, no disrespect to Villa, you guys know that I've really liked what Villa have done so far this season, even though they're not that far off the drop. This game is the one that you think we should be able to win. Aston Villa at home, newly promoted side. We saw what Sheffield United did when they came to Stamford Bridge. came from 2 goals down to get a draw. We cannot drop points in this game against Aston Villa, because if we do, Everton at the weekend away from home, Marco Silva, every game he goes into at the moment, I keep thinking he's going to get sacked. And Everton, I don't know what it is, sometimes they just turn up against us. And you remember the days of old Stephen Naismith, that guy, honestly, in my mind, all the time when we play Everton, I think of Stephen Naismith because of the goals he scored against us in the past. Everton at the weekend away, never an easy fixture. And then, what we're starting to see here is the congestion, the build-up of fixtures, with a Chelsea squad that is severely lacking in depth when it comes to quality, which right now is, in my opinion, the reason why we've not got so many points from the last few games. Against Manchester City, we played some really good football. We held the ball for long periods. It was Pep Guardiola's lowest possession stats ever, but it's what we did with it. And I think it was very pedestrian. It was very slow, and I think a lot of that is down the fitness levels and the fatigue amongst some of these players. And the main point that I really want to address within this video today is the importance and the role that N'Golo Kante has to play over this Christmas period. That just made me jump out of my skin. I don't think anyone can deny that Liverpool do have a strongest 11 that pretty much any football fan who watches this sport could probably guess straight off the cuff. Now, unless they're actually fully on the injury table, Jurgen Klopp doesn't rest players as such. He often fields his strongest possible 11 every time they play. Now, I think one thing that Frank got wrong in this game against West Ham is the weekend, is having N'Golo Kante on the bench from the start. I think if Kante's on the bench and he's ready to play, he needs to be starting, because the evident gulf in quality between Kante and the majority of players on the pitch, and this is no disrespect to the rest of the Chelsea players, but when you watch Kante play, he is evidently a class above virtually every other individual on the football pitch. A massive thing that Frank needs to do is, unless Kante is like, you know what, I cannot play, boss, I'm injured, Kante's got to be starting in every single match for Chelsea. Whether that means Kovacic gets dropped, whether it means Mount gets dropped and we go to a 3, whether it means Jorginho is dropped, and I think Jorginho has really been struggling recently with the amount of minutes he's had to play. And, well, quite frankly, he's a professional footballer. I do think he should be able to handle it. But the pressure that Jorginho has had on him in matches, in the mechanics behind this Chelsea team. So, N'Golo Kante for me is, and unless something happens, he's got to be a guaranteed starter in every single one of these fixtures coming up over the next week or so, because he is key to this Chelsea team and he is the evident best player in this squad right now. So I wanted to address a couple of comments that you guys left on the 6 Things We Learned video that was out on Saturday night. The first one is from C. Co. On a positive, yes guys is so nice to hear. Haha, classic George. Yes, that is, yes guys is the intro now. We've established that one. Bov Paul. It's shocking. Reece James was the reason for West Ham's goal and defeat. Still, he is a green. That is poor analysis. Okay, I don't really get triggered by negative comments as such. I actually really do support people disagreeing with me within the comments of these videos. Football punditry, football discussion is always up for debate. You're never going to get everybody that agrees with your opinion, and it is a subjective thing if you don't just look at stats. You guys know unquantifiables, that's my gem. I love to look at different elements to players' games. My argument for Reece at the weekend was solely based on the fact that if we did have someone, anyone, who was willing to put their body on the line to get on the end of some brilliant crosses, we wouldn't have been looking at Reece James's defensive error for the goal. We've got to remember, Reece James is 19 years old. For me, I'm not going to say that he's better than Trent Alexander-Arnold, but in terms of what he can provide going forward, I think in a couple of years' time, we might be putting Reece James on the same level as someone like Trent Alexander-Arnold, who gets so many plaudits for his attacking capabilities, and even still, you know, Trent isn't very old at all. But at the same time, at 22 years old, he's still not fully a perfect defensive right back, in my opinion. So, you know, Reece James, he did make a mistake turning his back for the West Ham goal. If you can't see the evident talent this guy has, his strength, his size, everything about him, for his age, is just a recipe for a brilliant footballer moving forward. So, yeah, you could argue that Reece James could have had a yellow box in the game against West Ham for the defensive error, but for me, on the balance of things, what I saw from Reece, he had more take-ons for any fullback this season going forward in an individual game. I thought his crossing was very good, and he's just so comfortable on the ball. And for me, it's a joy to watch him play, and I think now, after that performance, particularly in an attacking sense against West Ham, he's Chelsea's #1 right back right now. So the next comment is from Football Tactics. I fear this is the time we feared. at the start of the season. Ellipsis, double, couple of sad emojis. We had to accept that it will be difficult. Yes, absolutely. This is the meat and potatoes of a football season. The way that all of these results come together, the way that form is formed during this Christmas period will have a huge say in the way Chelsea's season goes between now and the end of the season. We're in a top 4 position. A week ago, we were comfortable in the top 4. Now, we are starting to look over our shoulders. And let's be completely frank, pardon the pun, and honest about the situation. Lampard came in. We didn't know if it was going to click straight away. It did click very early on. The players were putting in performances, particularly away from home. Chelsea have looked very solid. We've looked like we can win any match we play away from Stamford Bridge. But the concerning thing for me is the home form and the nature of the home performances. I think we're very nervous. And I think a lot of these young players who have grown up and they've seen the skepticism potentially amongst the Chelsea crowd, I do wonder if there is that feeling within some of these youngsters on the field right now for Chelsea where playing at Stamford Bridge is still a bit of a daunting prospect. And when you go away from home and there isn't maybe as much pressure and you've got 3,000 Chelsea fans who are all singing, you know, it's not like Stamford Bridge where we've got 2 libraries to the side of the Shed and the Matthew Harding. There could be an element of pressure on these Chelsea players that means that performances at home aren't quite clicking at this moment in time. But let's be real. We all expected a tough season. It was never going to be Frank Lampard's Chelsea dance and pirouette their way to the Premier League title in season number 1. Even when Mourinho came back, we didn't expect that the second time around. And I would say that we had more of a complete squad than we do now because we desperately need a bit of investment. We need this appeal to be a positive one. We need it to be a thumbs up. So, yeah, I do fear for the next couple of weeks that the fixture congestion could get a bit too much. We've got some really tricky fixtures, we've got some huge games. And there isn't any denying that Chelsea have struggled in the big games so far this season. You look at Everton away, I bracket that as a really big game. Considering the form, the one against Aston Villa is a big game. Every game that Chelsea Football Club plays is a big game. If people are looking to try and put Tammy down for his record against the top clubs, just focus on what he has done. 10 goals at this stage of the season, no one would have expected that. So I think for Chelsea fans right now, it's really important that we don't get too carried away. We don't buy into the past couple of results too much. But anyway, this has kind of just been like a little update video. Let's just not get too carried away with this bad run. Let's not get too reactionary. Let's just play out the next week and see how it goes. And then we can start to taper expectations or really start to remember that this Frank Lampard Chelsea young team is a very special team for the future. And I do think that if we look at this video in the next week, I don't want to make any stupid statements that I'm going to regret, so I'm going to touch the wood leg that you guys are sat on right now. I do think this could be a good week for Chelsea. Everton have been in an awful run of form, so as an away game and a good time to play them, it could be now. Aston Villa at home is a winnable game for Chelsea. Villa were good against Man United, but Chelsea could have enough to beat them. Definitely do have enough to beat them, sorry. And then Lille at home is the one fixture in this group at the beginning of the group that I did think we should win. Anyway, guys, let me know what you think in the comments down below. Tomorrow, I'm going to be doing a match preview and I'm also going to be doing Premier League predictions because I missed it at the weekend just gone. So 2 videos tomorrow. I still don't know if I'm going to the Aston Villa game, so if I don't do a match vlog, I'll do 6 things we learned straight after. But thank you guys for watching today. Hit the like button if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you are new to the George Benson Football channel so you don't miss a video. Hit the bell notifications. Let me know your thoughts on what we've discussed in this video in the comments down below, and I'll catch you all later. Goodbye.